Hello, my name is Mikhail. I'm a veterinarian and I've been working in dairy cattle reproduction for the past 16 years. Reproduction in dairy cows is not just about artificial insemination. It is an entire process that includes proper preparation of the animals, efficient work organisation, and making the right decisions at every stage. That is why planning reproductive examinations and organising the workflow across the entire farm is so important. And today I would like to talk to you about exactly that. The first and most common question is, how should you prepare for a reproductive examination? First of all, if your herd has never undergone a reproductive examination before, it is a good idea to perform an overall assessment of the entire herd. However, there are very few farms where this is still the case. If we are working with a herd in which reproductive examinations are already performed on a regular basis, how do we prepare the animals? First and foremost, we need a list of those animals. Most of the time, we obtain it from the herd management software or from our own farm records. What really matters is knowing exactly which animals should be prepared for the veterinarian. First of all, these should be cows that have recently calved. On our farms, we examine cows between 7 and 14 days after calving to check whether the uterus is involuting properly, whether there are any abnormalities, and whether uterine treatment should be initiated to prepare the cow for the next breeding cycle. The second group consists of animals enrolled in a hormonal synchronization program. In this case, it is important to decide together with the veterinarian which animals should be examined. In our practice, we examine the animals before they enter the hormonal synchronization program, that is, at the beginning of the protocol. We rarely examine them during the program itself, but we do perform examinations again toward the end of the protocol. I'll come back to that a little later. When it comes to pregnant animals, we perform the first pregnancy examination between 27 and 32 days after insemination. Later, we confirm the pregnancy between 2.5 and 3 months of gestation, because we know that embryo loss is quite common during this period. We simply want to react as quickly as possible, if that happens. The third pregnancy examination is performed at the time of drying off. Why? Because in freestall herds, it is sometimes difficult to notice that a cow has aborted. Drying off a cow that is no longer pregnant results in significant financial losses, and in many cases ultimately leads to the animal being culled. Sometimes we also introduce a fourth pregnancy examination, which is performed at around 45 days of gestation. However, this is only done in exceptional herds, specifically those with a high incidence of embryo loss. In those herds, we observed that cows diagnosed as pregnant during the first examination were often no longer pregnant by the time we performed the confirmation examination at 60 to 70 days. We wanted to identify at which stage embryo loss or abortion was occurring. So we introduced one additional examination between those two pregnancy checks. Again, this is only done in exceptional situations. Once we know which cows are going to be examined, it is very helpful to mark them in some way. Most farmers simply mark the cows with paint during milking so that we can immediately identify which animals are scheduled for examination. It is not always possible to gather all the cows that need to be examined into one location, where they can move through one by one. As a result, we sometimes have to walk around the barn, locate individual animals, and examine them where they are standing. When the cows are clearly marked, the entire process becomes much easier. Of course, if it is possible to gather those animals together and prepare them in advance, the examination takes much less time, making the process easier for everyone involved. If the farm uses headlocks, it is ideal if the cows are already secured in them before the examination. However, one important thing must be remembered: they should not remain locked in the headlocks for half a day. The most practical approach is to contact the farmer beforehand and ask them to distribute feed about half an hour before our arrival. Most cows will naturally lock themselves into the headlocks while eating, allowing us to perform the examinations efficiently. In that case, the examination is completed very quickly. This is especially true when examining heifers. If headlocks are available, we can examine 100 to 150 heifers in less than an hour, making the entire process easier for everyone involved. When we talk about farm organisation in general, we should also remember that reproductive examinations are only one part of post-calving management. Another equally important aspect is identifying and monitoring critical control points. One of those is colostrum management. The colostrum fed to the calf should always be tested using a Brix refractometer to make sure its quality is adequate. If the Brix value is too low, the colostrum should be fortified or replaced with colostrum from a colostrum bank. We should also remember that measuring the cow's body temperature after calving is an essential part of herd management. This is really a routine management task. If a cow develops a fever after calving, the veterinarian should be contacted immediately so that the cause can be diagnosed as quickly as possible. This is also extremely important from a reproductive standpoint because cows often develop a fever as a result of uterine inflammation. If that uterine inflammation becomes chronic, it becomes very difficult to get the cow pregnant, or at least to achieve pregnancy within the desired breeding window, which is between 50 and 60 days after calving. It is also very important to monitor cows for abnormal vaginal discharge and to determine whether it has a characteristic or unpleasant odour. Whenever such signs are observed, they should also be reported to the veterinarian. Another very good practice is to measure ketone body levels between days 5 and 7 after calving. If ketone levels are elevated, we know that the cow is experiencing ketosis, allowing us to begin treatment immediately. In addition, if we test a number of cows over a period of 6 months or a year, the average ketone values provide valuable information about whether the herd is experiencing subclinical ketosis. This information is extremely valuable, not only for the veterinarian, but also for the nutritionist, the herd manager, and the livestock specialist.